Safina, and I wanted to make a quick video on letting go of a relationship that God does not want you to be in. I felt led to make this video for people who may be struggling with being in a situation, being in a relationship that you know is contrary to what God desires for you. I know women are not the only one that deal with this. I know plenty of men deal with this as well, but a lot of times, you know, we are led by our desires. And a lot of times they're godly desires, they're good desires. The desire to have a family, the desire to get married, the desire to have sex with your spouse, and the desire to build legacy. Those are godly, beautiful things that God puts in the heart of men and women for the purpose of coming together. But I think a lot of times we can allow those desires to lead us astray. We'll find ourselves in a relationship with someone that you know in your spirit and in your heart is not someone that God wills for you to be with, but because they may be attractive or because you now see this as an opportunity to get closer to your dream of marriage, we're willing to bypass, or you're willing to bypass a lot of things that God may be showing you spiritually, mentally, emotionally. God is showing you, okay, this ain't it. It could be a situation with another Christian, because just because two people are Christian doesn't mean that they're meant to be together. I think it's really, really important to have these conversations. One of the things that happens is that there now can become tension in your relationship with God, because you have this conviction, but you also have this desire, because you can't serve two masters. Now it becomes a battle, and now it becomes a war of who's gonna win, right? And a lot of times you're afraid to pray, you're afraid to seek God, because you know he's gonna put his finger on that thing that you don't wanna let go of, or that person that you don't wanna let go of. This tension turns into prayerlessness. It turns into avoiding anything that got to do with God, because we don't want to deal with that truth. We don't want to be confronted by something that is going to make us uncomfortable. And a lot of times what we do in those situations is we forfeit peace, because there's no peace. It's impossible to have the Spirit of truth and the Holy Spirit in you and you not feel something when something is not right. If the Spirit of truth is dwelling in you, there are things that God will show you. There's an unction. There's something that he will show you to tell you, hey, this ain't it. And whether that comes through a person, whether it comes through discerning the fruit of your life since this person has come into it. I know one thing that I've seen is, like, you'll have someone who's like vibrant and passionate and loves God and, you know, just has a light about them. And then they end up being with someone, or they end up yoking themselves up with someone who snuffs all of that out. Because the right relationship is going to make you shine brighter, and the wrong relationship is going to dim your light. So the gifts and the talents and the light that God gives you, it's now spent on trying to make something work that's dead. It's now spent on trying to give life to something that's dead, and that's exhausting. So the wrong relationship will make you lose your light. It will make you lose peace. It will have you up at night tossing and turning because you're confused. I think the saddest part and the hardest part is that when you know you're in a relationship that God is not a part of, you can't even pray about it. You can, but you're reluctant to, because the answer is not, God is not going to give you an answer to enforce our disobedience. He's not going to give you grace and give you instruction on how to make a relationship work that's not even a part of his will. To have to go through all of that, it's just not worth it. A lot of times the reason why we stay stuck in these relationships is because we feel like, well, I've already invested all of this time. So that time for you may be 2 months, that time for someone else may be 2 years, but you feel like, well, I've already invested all this time. So if I cut it off or I end it, then I pretty much lost my investment. But the truth is, time waits for no one. So time is going to keep on going. 5 years from now is still going to come, but the decisions that we're making now are going to affect what 5 years from now looks like. So 5 years from now, you could, be still trying to make something work that was never supposed to work in the beginning or in the first place. And now it's even harder, or now it's even worse because the yoke is deeper, because years have gone by. So now you're 5 years in. A lot of times the mindset that we have that keeps us stuck, where it's like, well, I'm already a year in, might as well keep going. But it's like, no. God can restore the years. Like, God can restore you in that time. And it's even worse 5 years from now, because now there's regret. Regret is different. Either way, it's gonna hurt. Pick your pain or pick your heart, right? Either way, it's going to hurt, but it's better to feel temporary sadness and grief because you're having to let go of an idea or a vision or a dream in that particular season or in that moment. It's better to experience that, rip off the Band-Aid, cry, do what you gotta do, versus years down the line having to face regret, having to deal with, dang, I should have listened. Dang, I should have paid attention. Dang, I knew this wasn't it. There are so many women who are facing that, and that's their reality every single day. And if you talk to them, they'll say, if I could look back, I would have never kept going. There's great relationships out there. It's possible to be in a fruitful relationship. It's possible to be in something healthy where you're not confused and you're not all over the place because you're so focused on trying to shine light on darkness, and God is trying to get you away from it. Then you're trying to carry someone to the cross. You're trying to carry someone into believing the same God that you do. God didn't create us or create you to carry that type of weight. Relationships are difficult, or relationships can be difficult because it's two flawed people who have their own issues, who have their own traumas, trying to do the best that they can. So there's going to be a hardness that comes, or there's going to be struggle that may come with it. But that type of struggle is a whole lot different than struggle because the foundations are jacked up. Trust and believe that God can restore the years. Trust and believe and depend on the grace and the strength of God to do what you need to do, even though you don't want to do it. Be honest and transparent with God. If you don't want to, that's fine. There's always going to be a battle between what we know is right versus what we want. So don't be afraid to keep it real with God and say, God, I don't want to do this, but I do want to be in your will, right? No relationship is worth forfeiting your peace. No relationship is worth forfeiting sleep, okay? And no relationship is worth having you toss and turn at night. And peace is a gift from God. And a lot of times we cast it away and treat it as careless, or treat it carelessly, because we're so desperate for our ideas of marriage to come true. And so in the end, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. So my prayer is that God will give you the strength if this video is for you. And if you're in that situation, just know that God hears you, and God will give you the strength to get back on track, to get away from the thing that may be weighing you down, to get away from the idol that may be snatching the joy and the peace and the light that God has given you to shine bright in this world, to shine bright for your family and your friends. But you've allowed a relationship to bring you down, or if you've allowed it to snatch the life and the joy and the glow that God has given you from his spirit. And so if this is you, I'm praying for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.